Game 2 is underway, getting ready to start this thing. Coach John Byington is asking for the music to be shut off as I'll stand up and give the old cut gesture to the throat, and down goes the music. Game 2 getting underway. A little clunky start there, getting reset. Back to action from Blocktickets Park in Colorado Springs. Thad Anderson with you on the Front Range Baseball Network. And I've been waiting for this opportunity. Got strike one delivered on Wednesday when I got to Colorado Springs to call a little homestand here for the El Paso County Baseball Miracles. Maverick Alcaria, I talked to him in the dugout Wednesday night, and he said, "Hey, you going to be here tomorrow on Thursday?" I said, "Yeah." Alcaria's pitch yanked wide. I said, "Why, you starting?" He said, "Yeah." And then just a couple, move arounds, little reworking of the pitching staff over the last couple days. And now on the Friday night, game 2, it's Maverick Alcaria on the bump for El Paso County Baseball. He told me himself, he said, I'm not really velocity, like I'm not a big hard thrower, but if I can get my changeup to work and just kind of keep guys off balance, hit some spots, see what I can do. He knew his task was tough against a team that hits it as well as anybody in the Front Range League, the Fort Collins Foxes, opening up with a single to center field. Cade Gavina hitting leadoff in game 2. Gavina has a single, and the Foxes are back at it after a big finish. They were down 4-0 in game 1 and 5-4 in the middle portions of that 7-inning game, but the Foxes then did what Foxes do and went off, finishing strong down the stretch and running away with it. 17-7. Nori Todd bats second. Here's Alcaria's pitch. Todd hits that toward second base. Can't make the stab. Jeremiah Lucero running to his forehand side. It'll be runners on the corners for the Foxes. First two guys hit singles. First to third goes Gavina on the Nori Todd single. Nick Bertucci bats in the 3 spot now in this game. He hit 4 spot in game 1. Batting order for the Foxes: Gavina, Todd, Bertucci, the 3 that you've seen come to the plate, with Bertucci digging in now. Smith, Einen, Oreskes, May, Fagans, Vandiver. Vandiver the catcher. Todd takes off on the first pitch, and throw through from De La Cueva bounces around. Foxes won't run on it. Gavina stays put at third base, and Nori Todd steals second base. 2 aboard, nobody out. Bertucci to be followed by Hank Smith. So they flip-flop spots in the order. They batted 3-4 Smith Bertucci last game. Now 3-4 Bertucci Smith in game 2. Alcaria's pitch. Nick Bertucci hit a home run last game. That came in the 7th inning. Leadoff solo shot from Bertucci, one of his 2 hits in the game. Couple RBI and 3 runs scored. Alcaria's pitch working away, and that'll clear the outside part of the zone. Wide 2-1 count. 7-inning ball game. Game 2 of a double in the Springs tonight. Bertucci gets a big hack on that 2-1 pitch, hits it long to right center and over the 385 sign. Home run in each game of the DH for Nick Bertucci. That is a 3-run bomb from Bertucci, who lasered that just to the left of the Vibes logo and the clock, and right over the 385 marker, sitting atop the Pizza Hut red roof. His yard. Three guys to the plate, 3 runs home on the 3-run blast from Nick Bertucci. In the words of the old White Sox broadcasters, you can put it on the board. Yes. Never loved that call myself, but I'm not a White Sox fan, and I probably just didn't appreciate that one appropriately. But put those on the board. Yes, 3 runs for the Foxes. Miracles got off to a 4-0 lead. They actually did the deal last game, scoring 3. Their first 3 guys that came to the plate scored for the Miracles in game 1. They have the tables turned on them for 3 quick runs for the Foxes. Hank Smith sees a 1-2 count and hits that lasered at second. That'll get through. Single for Hank. Bent around the plate. A couple good pitches to the lefty. Hank Smith left side hit a single. Are on at Blocktickets Park in Colorado Springs with probably about a 50-50 mix of shadow and sun creeping across the park, but not in uniform shape, as you can see. Got a chunk of sun on the second base and shortstop area. Shadow right now. Strike on the outside edge. Alcaria gets his first out of his start on a backward K of Orescas. I ran down to the field. A little bit of a hike from up here, which is appreciated. This is a fantastic press box. I spent about 10 years calling baseball in the Pac-12 before that conference dissipated, and this park more like those parks. Nice setup here. That ball's out in the right center gap. Going to be 3 bags for Owen May, who drives in a pair of Foxes. We have a 3-run bomb from Nick Bertucci and a 2-run triple now from Owen May, and the Foxes are swinging it. They push their lead out to 5-0 in the top of the first. Here's Parker Fagans, number 8 batter in the Foxes order. First 5 guys in the order have scored. Gavina, Todd, Bertucci, Smith, Einen. May is standing at third base with 1 out. Fagans trying to plate him. Walked down to the field between games. Checked in on the new lineups. And Fox's head coach, manager Larry McCann's gear that was piled up on first base coach Dominic Selfo. Matthew Eubanks was our in-game conversation guest in Game 1. Thanks to Matthew for coming up to the booth before we got started on the doubleheader, and we took you through a bunch of comments from Eubanks. Gave us some good info. If you didn't catch that, that game archives on the Front Range Baseball Network here on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't at Front Range Baseball Network. Subscribe. You can get notifications for games you want to see when they go live. Strike to Vandiver has a 1-2 count. So if you didn't catch the Eubanks in-game interview, it was between innings, sprinkled through the first half of that game. You can smack the archive from tonight of Game 1 here and hear what right-handed pitcher Eubanks had to say in his comments. Last game I got up to run down the hall to talk to the scoreboard operator to correct the score and ran into Miracles Game 1 starter Zachary Sanders, who threw a nice game and had the Foxes in it thick until late. He went into the 5th. There's an offer. Yep, went around at Vandiver, and that'll be strike 3 for Ryan. 9 Foxes to the plate. Everybody bats in the inning. 2 strikeouts for Maverick Alcaria, but the other side of that coin is 6 runs in for the Foxes. One of the most prolific offenses in the Front Range League. They do it again, putting up a 6 spot. Bottom of the first, Morgan, Clayton, and Reese will get to the plate for the El Paso County Baseball Miracles.
River Morgan presents famous baseball quotes.
Hey, Dad, Literally
Man,
asks
this is
you
not
what I
what
do
you
in the
do.
winter when there's no baseball.
Keeps
Just
the
parrot.
I'll
I'll tell
fun.
you what I
Off
do.
the streets.
I stare out the
Yo,
window
there's
and
no
wait for spring.
crying in baseball.
Here's the bottom of one of a 7-inning game, Foxes and Miracles. Starter for the Fort Collins Foxes, Ronan Hella in day one with the club for this summer. Started at short in his first game tonight, and game two he'll open on the hill. The right-handed pitcher, again, who just finished at UCCS, the University of Colorado Springs, the Mountain Lions. Just graduated, has one more year of eligibility. Hella fires ball one and ball two, opening first frame. Pioneers in western Nebraska, Gearing, Nebraska at Oregon Trail Park have a 2-0 lead on the Diamond Club Collegians into the fifth inning. Here's a ball to right. Bertucci retreats into the sun, shade, catch. Running through strips of sunlight, Hunter Morgan sends Nick Bertucci toward the corner in fair territory, making the catch, one out. And Ronan Hella succeeds in his first batter faced of recording an out. Western Nebraska and Diamond Club Collegians, the Pioneers and Collegians going at it. Strike inside part of the zone to number two batter Ben Clayton, Austin Reese on deck. Jansen Roberts batting fourth, should they get to him this inning. Bounce pitch for a ball. Luis Lepe is pitching for the Diamond Club Collegians. He's out of Douglas, Wyoming, which is not too far yonder over from Gearing, Nebraska. And Luis performing well in that start. His team's down 2-0, but I've seen Lepe pitch a few times this year, and he's competitive on the bump. Little lefty doing good things for the Diamond Club Collegians in a tight battle in the fifth inning with the Pioneers. It's a 9-inning game in western Nebraska, and it's 2-0 in the top of the fifth with Diamond Club batting. But credit to the Collegians and their starting pitcher, Luis Lepe, putting on a good contest in Gearing, Nebraska. Bending pitch, and Ronan Hella got him. 2-2 pitch was that one, and that buries the count on a backward K to Ben Clayton, and Reese comes to the plate. Austin now up. Austin Reese had a game in game one. He went 4 for 4 with 3 singles and a triple. 2 RBI, 3 runs scored. Reese swinging a hot bat, facing Hella. Gets a breaking ball that he whiffs at. Strike one. Jam shot for Reese, multi-hopper to second base, and played by Cade Gavina. 3 up, 3 down. Reese is out, and Ronan Hella has a clean first inning. Fly out, strikeout, ground out for the Foxes pitcher and defense. So the Foxes send 9 to the plate in the first inning. The Miracles send 3. Foxes score 6. Miracles have 0.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Can of Whoop. We all want to dominate. We all have those moments when we just can't find that next gear. When you can't find that next gear, try Can of Whoop. Pop the top and pour it on. Can of Whoop. Pop the top and pour it on.
Same guy starts the second inning who started the first. Cade Gavina, right-handed batter against the righty Maverick Alcaria. It'll lift a foul ball that'll get out of play above the dugout and just beyond into the front section of the grandstands at Blocktickets Park. Again, as I mentioned, each game, because it's awesome. Fantastic park, this one. The green chairback armrest seats all around the lower bowl. Alcaria's pitch bounces through and to the backstop for a 1-1 count. Then the upper level, separated by a walking aisle behind a set of rails, then comes the upper level. It's bleacher seats, long metal bench bleacher seats with metal backs on them. Pretty cool. Everybody's got a back here. Throw across is going to be an out. Gavina grounds out third base. Defensively, that is staffed by Ben Clayton. Shortstop is Jansen Roberts in this game for the Miracles. Gavina is the first out of the top of 2. Defense, Clayton at third, David Ada at first, Jansen Roberts at short. And the second baseman, Jeremiah Lucero, behind the pitcher, Maverick Alcaria. Catching again, double duty in this doubleheader tonight, Louis De La Cueva. I've got some Louis stories I held off on in Game 1 because I knew we'd have some stuff to cover here in Game 2, and I got some more Louis 4-1-1. That's a hit by pitch for Nori Todd. He'll take a free bag on both times. Single last inning and hit by pitch in the top of 2. 1 out, 1 aboard. De La Cueva behind the plate, catching Alcaria. Left fielder Nicholas Brainerd is in sunshine in left, looking right back toward the sun over the mountains to the west of Colorado Springs. In center field is Hunter Morgan. He's in sunshine. He'll be in it for a little bit. He's got a big patch of sun out there on him. And in full shade shadow in right field, Mason Aaron. Nick Bertucci swung at pitch 1. Alcaria off-speeded him and made that work for strike 1. Bertucci did not offer. Held up on the pitch that bends out of the zone. Nick went big time in the first inning. Single for Gavina, single for Todd, and then Bertucci, 3-run bomb opposite way to right center. As I mentioned then, re-mentioned now. You know what he hit it over? I didn't mention this. He hit it right over the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame advertisement sign in right center. That's a cool spot right there. Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame here in Colorado Springs. Love me some rodeo. Todd takes off, stealing here. A pitch that bends down. 2-1 count to Bertucci. Nori Todd steals second base with one out. As I've long uttered about the uttered sport of animal athletes with udders. Best rodeo. Todd's going to take off again. He timed up Alcaria, who looked once, and then Todd started to go and took it on the one look from Maverick. So stolen base. Best rodeo starts with bull riding. Also ends with bull riding. And the Foxes have done that here in Game 2. They started right off with bull riding in inning 1. Does he do it again? Foul down the left field side. But Bertucci, those aren't daddy hacks. Those are like Godzilla hacks from Bertucci, Australian, who set the Foxes' single-season record for a club that's been around for about 20 years. Bertucci last year as a Fort Collins Fox set the record for home runs. There's a breaking ball from Maverick Alcaria, and Maverick can take a little pride in that. One of the top hitters and a power guy who already took him yard in this game. He bent a nice little breaking ball to the inside part of the plate, and 2 outs now. Hank Smith to the plate. Strike one, again using that breaking ball, this time against the lefty. Same spot he used against Bertucci for the strikeout, but this time it's the outside edge instead of the inside edge with the lefty Smith taking it. Strike one. 1 pitch now to the inside and a miss. 1-1 count. Louis De La Cueva, who will be talked about. Just going to pick my spot here. Louis makes a nice play in the dirt. Keeps that runner at third base. Nori Todd unable to score as De La Cueva does his job behind the dish. Now elevated up above the zone and a 2-1 count. Maverick Alcaria vying here for a 0-run inning after he starts here at the top of the order just like he did in the first. And the first inning, 9 guys to the plate. Trying to get out of here with just 4 guys and strand one. Alcaria missed inside. 3-1 count. Miracles manager John Byington stepped up out of the dugout. Not sure what he's looking at there. Don't know if he liked that pitch and was curious where it missed. This ball is roped into right. It will not be a 0-run frame. Hank Smith swinging it. Single for Smith and an RBI knocks in Nori Todd. Make it 7-0 Foxes in the top of 2. Diamond Club Collegians have put up a run now against the Pioneers in Western Nebraska. It's a 2-1 ball game in the bottom of the 5th. Pioneers batting and leading by 1. Good game going there. With Western Nebraska fresh off of a dominant 3-game road run in Boulder and right here in Colorado Springs. 3 wins for the Pioneers have pushed them up right in contention at the top of the pack. Diamond Club down one of those 3 teams with 3 wins. Greeley Grays, the Miracles with us here, and Diamond Club all on 3 wins, and far cry from the top of the standings table, but they're giving the Pioneers a great run in the 5th inning, 2-1. Collegians will be back here, Diamond Club, on Sunday, right back here. I'll be here, too, for that one with the Miracles and Diamond Club, who staged a great one on Wednesday night, extra inning game that ended with a walk-off granny foul ball down the right field line. Diving effort, and that one had to hurt. Sliding across the foul line over to the dirt side over there. Drops down. Elijah Einen with a 1-2 count. Pitch to Einen. Misses wide. Yeah, second base, I was trying to double-check that. The starting lineup card, Jeremiah Lucero listed at second base. But the defender out there who just made the great running, diving effort into foul territory for the Miracles, second baseman, is Jackson Schlepper. Jackson played shortstop last game. He's playing second base now with Jansen Roberts at shortstop. 3-2 pitch, runner goes, and that's called a strike. Elijah Einen turns around, gives a big smile to plate umpire and ring-up guy, Steve Schlepper, who has got that as a strike working down in the zone. Einen is out, and 2 strikeouts in the inning. Got 2 strikeouts last inning, too, did Maverick Alcaria. This one goes better for him, just 1 run yielded instead of the 6 of the first frame. And take us through the first 1.5 innings with the Foxes up by a touchdown, 7-0. Miracles are on their number 4 batter, Jansen Roberts, David Ada, and Louis De La Cueva. Always appointment television or appointment internet when Jansen Roberts is batting. He's batting 4. He'll be leading off the bottom of 2. Bottom of 2, Miracles batting. Ronan Hella, second inning in his start for the Foxes on the bump. Ryan Vandiver behind the dish. And Jansen Roberts in the box, lefty batter. Starts the bottom of 2. David Ada waits on deck, the righty. Roberts smokes that to center. Nori Todd turns, does a nice job on the retreat, and then resets himself. That's good defense right there. He turned, got his hips turned, headed toward the wall, and now dances out the out as he looks over to right field to Bertucci, who dances back, and then looks over to Parker Fagans in left, and they all still going. Hold on, he's got a little more. Wait a second, he's got a little more jiggle out there. Okay, Nori's done, and nice D, like how he played it. Ended up back about where he started, but that ball was hit hard by Roberts. Line shot to center. Good job buying himself a little time to get the read. Then he makes the catch. Fouled off by David Ada. Beautiful night in Colorado Springs. Ronan Hella, I didn't get a chance to ask about the duration of the plan for the duration of this start. We'll see how long Hella goes. I'll try to keep an eye on pitch count for him too. 2-1 count. No on that pitch, down and in. Jay O'Connor, the assistant coach, pitching coach for the Foxes, working with Larry McCann. We've seen players on some base coaching duties in Game 2. Jay O'Connor, typically that guy. Here's a shot to the left center gap. Ada around first. He's going to dig for 2. Here's the throw, and head first in with a double goes David Ada. First hit for the Miracles against Ronan Hella for the Foxes on the bump. They went 0 for their first 4, although the last one was hit well by Jansen Roberts, just right at Nori Todd. This one finds the gap. Ada's got a double. Louis De La Cueva, the catcher, with 1 out. And Jackson Schlepper on deck. De La Cueva sawed off a little bit there. Looked back at third by Einen. Now he's going to go Ada, and no throw across from Drew Oreskes. Louis De La Cueva looks at his hands, shaking off the vibration of that one. He got jammed by Hella. Grounds out for 2 down. And the runner, Ada. Credit to David Ada. He's a bigger frame. He's not like one of your speed merchant dudes, but he hustled for the double in the left center gap and went head first into second. Now he moved second to third on a ground ball to third base that Fox's third baseman Elijah Einen looked him back, gave him a good healthy look, and Ada waited, and on the throw release he took off, got the 90 feet, trying to get the first run on the board for the Miracles. Bending pitch, yes, on a strike. Schlepper was fooled on that. He was backing out, and that pitch landed mid-zone on the breaking ball. Hella made that hella difficult on the batter, Schlepper. He'll slap this other way, foul right side. Scoreboard's got a 6-0 up there. That's not quite up to date. It's 7-0 here at the park. Unless I'm smoking something, and I'm not. I will say, though, Sam's Meats, one of the sponsors of the Foxes in Fort Collins, they're smoking something. Sam's been bringing a variety of smoked meats to the ballpark and winning, persuading friends left and right with Sam's Meats. 1-2 pitch is not a strike. I thought the setup there was to ring it. 2-2 the count. Here's Ronan Hella back to the set position. Low hands. Fires and gets a strike swing through from Jackson Schlepper. Strikeout for Ronan Hella. He has one of those in each inning. 2 Ks, no runs through 2 innings of work. 1 hit allowed, the double from David Ada. He's stranded at third base. And the Foxes have completed 2 innings of advantage baseball, up 7-0. Scheduled 7-inning ball game, a 10-run rule after 5. We'll see if the Foxes keep pushing the offense or if the Miracles can start carving away going into the top of the third for the Foxes with Oreskes, May, and Fagans. Drew Oreskes leads off the top of the third inning for the Fort Collins Foxes. Third inning of work for Maverick Alcaria. Swinging a strike for Oreskes. Pioneers have now opened up a 5-1 lead over Diamond Club, bottom of the 5th in Gearing, Nebraska. Oreskes sails that to left field. It's tailing into foul territory and will drop down into the dirt. Everybody converging. Short third left. Jansen Roberts, shortstop. Ben Clayton, third baseman. Left fielder Nicholas Brainerd have a meeting over just past the mud strip. Soft, light bit of mud. Not terrible over there on the grass dirt transition down the third base side. They all meet up by the bullpen, which is empty for the Foxes. Miracles bullpen also empty, so we got Hella and Alcaria both slated to keep flinging it. 0-2 count, and just missed on that. Alcaria gazed in a little longer, just kind of waiting just in case something else happened on the call, but it's a 1-2 count to Oreskes. Drew started the hands. That pitch had a lot of movement, busted in toward the back knee of Drew Oreskes. He stopped the hands and almost had that clip his leg. 2-2 pitch. That's wide to the opposite side of the plate. Full count. Maverick Alcaria, he's right in the mid-50s now for pitch count. Working in the start of his third frame. Missed wide. Oreskes takes a walk. Well, to Maverick Alcaria's credit, that's his first walk of the outing. He does have 2 hit by pitch, so a couple of freebies allowed, but first time he's delivered 4 balls to a batter. Gotta like that. I'd say that's always kind of job one. If they hit it, they hit it. This one is hit up above the dugout of the Miracles. It lands just on the playing side of the leaning rail, but Ada and De La Cueva both not able to close the ground before that ball fell down on the playing surface on the dirt right in front of the first base dugout. Had a chance there to erase Owen May on a pop-up. Now it's an 0-1 count to Owen. Tripled in the first inning, 2 RBIs with that 3-bagger. Nice breaking ball to the zone. 0-2. So Alcaria, I think we're lagging just, not much. He's at 50, let's say 57 pitches, 33 for strikes. A pretty good ball-strike ratio. He's down there. Didn't miss by much. 1-2 count. 6 hits, 7 runs, all earned. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hit by pitch for Alcaria as he prepares to deliver on 1-2. Here it comes. Runner at first is Oreskes. Reach and a poke into right field. Running it down at the line. Mason Aaron fires it back toward first, and Oreskes holds there. Owen May flies out right along the line in right field. That kind of just a reach slap shot on 2 strikes. Ball was caught just at the line. May is out number 1. Oreskes at first with Parker Fagans into the box. Fagans takes ball 1. Fagans gave it a ride to left his first time up, just at the front of the track, down the 350 line here at Blocktickets Park. Fagans got a sac fly out of that for a ribby. Now, sharp foul down the third base line. Louis De La Cueva looks to the Miracles first base dugout. Little communication. Coaches Marcus Gilmore and John Byington side by side on the top step. Fagans again goes deep to left. Did he get enough this time? Did not, and the catch not made, and that's going to be an E7. That ball had height and was right at the track. As it came down, Nicholas Brainerd, the wind's blowing a little bit. I mean, whatever happened with that ball, he settled, looked like he had it, and it wound up just a little bit to the center field side of his reach. Glove was right at it, but no catch. E7, and runners on first and second. Drew Oreskes was waiting. I didn't see if he was, where was he on that? I don't know if he was, how far off of first he was. He wasn't tagging, I don't think. Ball had a chance to get out. Flags are whipping, by the way. They're now blowing the other direction. A moment ago, they were blowing back toward the infield. Now they've changed to the more traditional direction here, with winds typically coming down the mountains from the west to the east. And yeah, they've whipped back. It's a swirling wind right now, and that's probably part of why that ball behaved oddly for Nicholas Brainerd, who gets a tall fly ball, wind-affected E7 on that. Ryan Vandiver, 9-batter for the Foxes. The catcher is in with a 1-1 count. Alcaria gets him to get early on Nubbet off the end of the bat for a 1-2 count. John Byington all over it, out to grab the loose ball behind the home plate area. Cade Gavina, top of the order, waits on deck for the Foxes. Alcaria pushing up into the 60s in his pitch count. Louis De La Cueva makes a diving stop at catcher. Again, I challenge any Front Range League catcher to be the first in the history of the grand game of baseball to ever record an L2 in the book. Line out to catcher. That would have to be a fair ball, line drive. We got a car. I've got a free car available. So making L2. Ryan Vandiver shoots one into left. Vandiver being single worthy there is going to send a run to the plate. Drew Oreskes comes around from second base, and Ryan Vandiver reprimes the pump for the Foxes, who get back on the board. They've scored in each frame now, 6 in the first, 1 in the second. They've got 1 here in the third. Parker Fagans around to third base. Marcus Gilmore, Miracle's assistant, is going to make this visit, which would seem to indicate not a pitching change here. I think John Byington typically makes that trip. Bullpen is at work for the Miracles. Jacob Watley pitched last game. He is not the one warming up. He's catching or playing catch as the receiver in the bullpen. And I'm waiting to get a good look at the jersey number. I think it's Nick Marburger. Yeah, Marburger. And I think he was up a little bit last game. He might have just been playing catch, but I think I saw Marburger down there in game 1. Nick Marburger has the bullpen action going here as plate umpire Steve Schlepper walks out to break up the conference with 7 people assembled there at the mound. Coach Gilmore plus all 6 of the dirt dwellers, catcher, pitcher, and all 4 defenders on the infield. Steve Naftanel has the bases this game. Umpires Steve and Steve flipped spots from game 1, exchanging the plate and base duties. And base umpire Steve Naftanel, I think I didn't get a chance to ask him, but based on his salute during the national anthem earlier, thank you for your service, Steve. I believe he's got military background. Throw through on the steal by Vandiver. He is safe at 2, and it's a double steal for the Foxes with Fagans coming home from third, plating the 9th run of the contest for the Foxes. Vandiver, the catcher, swipes second. Fagans swipes home. Foxes have that feel here of just the unstoppable force, the machine. Miracles will need to compete to make this more than a 5-inning game here in game 2. It's a 7-inning scheduled game. Run rule after 5 is 10 runs. And the Foxes have done nothing to indicate They are going to be slowed tonight. Ball 2 just came in. Now ball 3 across to Cade Gavina, missing the zone. If you're streaming the game here at the park on the Front Range Baseball Network, I'm on the hunt for snacks right now. I didn't bring enough provisions tonight, so these Icebreakers Cool Mint mints are just not filling me up. So if you're here streaming, I'm on the hunt for snacks. Snack hunt. I see some seeds down there. I don't think those will quite do it. Who's got what? Let's get some provisions up here. Alcaria fires on 3-1, fouled off by Gavina. Well, that's over by a snack stand that's it's not open. Dang it. Thought I had a lead over there. No such. 3-2 count on 1 out. Vandiver at second. Pitch to Gavina is out of the zone. Cade takes a walk. First and second for the Foxes. Oh, look at the update now. Alcaria's pitch count is getting ratcheted up here in the inning with a couple walks. So some deep count action. Lots of pitches in individual counts. De La Cueva, nice block for Louis. Good work back there in his second game tonight behind the dish. Alcaria, 73 pitches after that ball. He's at 41 strikes and 32 balls. 2 walks, 2 hit by pitch. Nori Todd, end of the bat on that one, and he'll be put out at first base for out number 2. Other runners move along. Ground out to second for Todd. He was out in front of that pitch and just didn't have much of the bat left in the swing path when he rolled that to second base. Nick Bertucci, home run and a strikeout for Nick. 3-run shot in the first. And here comes a pitching change. John Byington now coming out of the dugout. He's followed by his reliever, Nick Marburger, who will take over for Maverick Alcaria. Maverick going 2 2/3 in this game, and he exits. Gives way to Nick Marburger. Maverick being greeted by his teammates. Looks like he might be a little frustrated. Might have wanted to stay out there, but Mav comes back and knucks the receiving line. And Nick Marburger takes over in the top of the third with 2 out. 2 runs in the frame for the Foxes. Nick Bertucci, the batter, with a couple guys on base in a 7-inning second game of the doubleheader tonight.
The Palace of Pong, the place for paddles. Ping Pong Palace, where ping pong players play ping pong and people populate pre- and post-perfect performances at the ball yard. Ping Pong Palace, positioned perfectly for our population, perpendicular to the pit, plus pleasant proximity to our pristine pond. Please, pop in for Pong. Purchase pop, popcorn, pizza, pastries. Take it from me. Ping Pong Winchester. The place for Pong is Ping Pong Palace. Ping Pong Palace, positioned perfectly for our population, perpendicular to the pit, plus pleasant proximity to our pristine pond. Please, pop in for Pong. cup shot.
First pitch from reliever Nick Marburger coming to Nick Bertucci is a ball wide of the plate. Nick Marburger on. There's a strike for a 1-1 count. Nick appeared in the win over Diamond Club on Wednesday night following starter Devin Alvarado, who got a nice firm start of 4 innings for the Miracles. Sean Eierman pitched that night. And saw Maddox Stahl on the hill. Saw Sean Eierman's dad tonight in the stands between games wearing his LSU hat, proudly sporting the LSU headgear. I asked him if he owned that before they won the College World Series this year. He said, yeah, I'm from there. He's not a Tiger come lately. He's been following that squad for a while and celebrating another College World Series crown for LSU. 3-1 the count now from Marburger to Bertucci. Nick on Nick violence right here. Here's Nick Marburger's pitch. Trying to get the third out. Stop the Foxes at 3 runs in the inning, and Bertucci is hit by that. Again, as I said before, if you're going to throw a ball 4, get your money's worth. HBP. Bags are full for a hot-hitting Hank Smith. Hank in game 1, 2 for 2. They make him 2 for 3. He had a double, a triple, 2 walks. And Hank in this game, a single and a single, RBI and a run scored, and he almost wore an RBI right there. Louis De La Cueva again. The big cat back there, agile behind the dish. Louis bouncing around, containing potential wild pitch run scorers. He denies a run there for the Foxes. Marburger looks back to 2, comes to the plate. Smith takes it upstairs. Now the scoreboard has the Foxes logo up, so that's awesome. You can see it out there in left center. It's got the Foxes and Miracles logos separated by seams, baseball seams. But the team names on the bottom strip down there with the line score say Pioneer and Miracle. They're limited to 7 characters, so it's not Pioneers and Miracles. It says Pioneer, Miracle. That's strictly a space issue of the font size out there. But it's not the Pioneers. It's the Foxes. So the Foxes are pleased with their logo. The Miracles would rather, like I said, not see the Pioneers name there. They got thumped yesterday by them. Here's a 2-run single to left field from Hank Smith. He's got 3 RBI in this game. And Hank in game 1, looks like, I don't think he had a ribby in game 1. A couple runs scored for Hank. He knocks in a pair. Foxes will be traveling back north to northern Colorado, Fort Collins post-game tonight, and they are working on making quick work of game 2. 11-0 the count. Marburger facing Elijah Einen, 9th batter of the frame for the Foxes. Do have some interesting conversation points from assistant coach Marcus Gilmore with the Miracles. I'll share those with you in a moment. As Einen bats with 2 outs, a 2-0 count. Marburger's pitch is down, away, and Einen spins out of that one. He's got a hit by pitch and a strikeout. The strikeout for Elijah, I don't know. Maybe not. 3-0 count here. That gets the zone. Nice pitch from Marburger. 3-1. Einen ready to pounce here on 3-1. Hank Smith at first with Nick Bertucci in front of him at second. There's a hack and a miss for Elijah, who inquires about that, probably asking if that was going to catch the zone. I didn't see a head nod, but I imagine the answer was yes. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Runners go on 3-2, 2 outs. And Einen last at bat maybe got not the best of a third strike call there. He dodges a pitch up in the zone that maybe would have been a ring up, but that'll go for a ball call and load him up. Marcus Gilmore, assistant coach with the Miracles, talking to him before the doubleheader tonight. Always an enjoyable conversation. He was talking about first year of the Front Range League, and this a new team here in Colorado Springs, a new collegiate team with El Paso County Baseball. This ball is hammered by Oreskes, sailing to right center and caught out there by Hunter Morgan. Morgan makes the catch. 10th batter of the inning was Drew Oreskes. He puts a charge into it, lines out to center fielder for the third out, and the Foxes put up another 4. 11-0. I'll tell you more about Marcus Gilmore's comments on the other side of a stop here, going to the bottom of the third. 8, 9, and 1 batters with Ronan Hella on a good start. He's thrown 24 pitches through 2 innings. 12 pitches per inning for Hella. 24 through 2. He's back out there to face 8, 9, and 1 Brainerd, Aaron, and Morgan.
River Morgan presents famous baseball quotes.
You tell me right now, Jimmy Morris.
It's supposed to be
always
hard.
in
Bob,
your
if it wasn't
killing
hard,
me.
you
Everyone
can't
would
steal
do
second
it.
base
The
and
hard
keep your foot
is what
on
makes
first.
it great. You want to have a catch, Smalls?
All yard baseball. All yard baseball. All yard baseball.
Ronan Hella's first pitch misses the zone for a 1-0 count. Pitch 2 from Ronan. That is sharply lined to left and will drop down for a base hit. Nicholas Brainerd, good hack. Nicholas playing left field tonight, sends one to that spot for the second hit of the game for the Miracles. Now with one on and nobody gone, 11-run deficit for the batting team. Number 9 batter Mason Aaron gets in for the first time. Hella has that one sent to center. On comes Nori Todd. That ball dropped. That was a soft flare and good read from first base. Going first to third is Nicholas Brainerd. On a base hit by Aaron, the number 8 batter, number 9 batter get it going for the Miracles with back-to-back singles. And back to the top of the order with Hunter Morgan. Strike one to Morgan.
That strike brought to you by Local Union 247365. We like strikes.
There's a shot to left and a base hit. Run scored. Miracles on the board. Hunter Morgan drives in the first run of Game 2 for the Miracles, who cut the deficit to 11-1. First three guys have succeeded in their task for the Miracles. Single, single, single. Now a pop-up is going to get out of play. Clangs down close to these middle windows of the Blocktickets Park press box where I'm at. Vantage point of your camera is the same look I've got from this awesome press box and ballpark in Colorado Springs. Breaking pitch works down and out for a ball. Got a 1-1 count. Scoreboard says 1-2, but umpire just flashed the 1-1. I thought that was where we were at. So first real runner's going to take off from second. Swing and a miss. Vandiver rips his throw, and it was wide to the foul side of third base, snagged by Einen, but in safely goes Aaron, stealing third base. Mason Aaron. Hunter Morgan moves up behind him to second base. Miracles have it cooking here, and like Fox's manager Larry McCann said, these guys can swing it. Pretty good offensive team. Hella getting a little bit of that treatment right now in the bottom of three. Pitch was in and missed the zone. Fouled off. Count should be 2-2. Second time in history that's happened. It happened once before tonight, too. Now it's back to 2-2. There we go. The Western Nebraska Pioneers are putting some runs on, now up 8-1 on Diamond Club in the sixth inning in Gearing, Nebraska. Got a full count here to Ben Clayton, batting number 2 in this game. Second spot in the batting order is Ben Clayton. Trying to keep it rolling with nobody out yet. He'll swing there, and Ronan Hella gets a strikeout with traffic on second and third. That's a good out for Ronan, who has a strikeout in each inning now. He's got 3 Ks in the game, does Hella. And for Ronan, he's at 34 pitches. He, like I said, had 24 pitches thrown through 2 innings, averaging 12 per frame through the first 2. He's got 10 pitches thrown in this inning with 1 out. Good strike from Hella. Bender down. Again, Ronan joining the Foxes here in Colorado Springs, starting his sequence with the team for the summer. He's out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. La Cueva High School, and the catcher for the other team today is Louis de la Cueva. Of course, La Cueva, Spanish word for cave. The cave. Also, caverna and gruta, words for cave, but cueva the most common and widely used term. La Cueva High in Albuquerque, the graduation spot for Hella. There's a liner to right that Bertucci runs up in gloves, and everybody has to hold up. That ball hit well by Austin Reese. A line out to Bertucci is the second out. Nobody can tag. That ball hit so sharply that it looked like it might get down. Bertucci makes a good approach to it. Read that perfectly. As the liner started to sink in right field, he gloved it on the run, and he had a full head of steam and a good arm in right field for the Foxes. Right fielder Bertucci, nobody going to try that. Mason Aaron was halfway down the line thinking about scoring when that dropped, but he was able to retreat back to third, 2 down. Good pitch on the outside. Roberts swings and misses. 1 run in, but Ronan Hella trying to pull the escape act here. And after having the first 3 guys reach, runners on second and third, 1 run in, he's got a strikeout and a line out. Can he leave the rest of them out there after getting the 1 run tallied? The Miracles. Hella would like to strand 2. "37 pitches and a 38. Couple more tallying up on the digital scorecard here. So right around 40 pitches is where Hella is at now as he gets the outside edge for a strike. "25 strikes and 14 balls through his first 39 pitches. Great ratio. Strikes aplenty. Jansen Roberts slaps that foul to the left side. Foxes and Miracles off tomorrow. They were going to play a game tomorrow and then ended up doubling this to tonight. Roberts floats that to left up in the shadows above the lights. Down it comes, and it's caught by the Foxes. Left fielder Parker Fagans ends the bottom of 3. 1 run in for the Miracles. They get the goose egg off the board, but they strand 2 at second and third. And it's 11-1 through 3 innings. Scheduled 7-inning ball game, 10-run rule after 5. That's in play right now as we go to the 4th frame from Blocktickets Park in Colorado Springs. And the Fort Collins Foxes send 7, 8, and 9. May, Fagans, Vandiver to the plate. Owen May takes a bag the unpleasant way for some guys. Some guys actually love that. Yeah, hit me again. May receives his plunking, and he's at first base. Parker Fagans has hit 2 balls hard to left, fly balls deep, about to the front of the track, and has gotten his third base dugout. Fox is excited on those, but Both of those caught. Fagan's, the first one was a sac fly. Second one was dropped, misplayed at the front of the track. I'd say just to the center field side of that Coca-Cola sign you see below the light pole in left field for an error in left. 0-1 count. Fagan's holds up his swing and takes a called strike. (0-2). Shortstop picked up at short. Roberts flips. Turn is not in time. They'll get the front side of the fielder's choice ball. Owen May is out. And Fagan's is at first on a 6-4 feed. Jansen Roberts to Jackson Schlepper in the middle of the diamond. Ryan Vandiver, the catcher, and the number 9 batter. Louis De La Cueva continues his long night of hamstring tension. Another ground ball to short, another chance here. Vandiver runs well, 6-4, turn it to 3. Got that one. As the Miracles get 2 cracks at it on the 6-4-3, and the second one they convert with Jansen Roberts making 2 shortstop feeds to Jackson Schlepper. The second one rolls it over, and Vandiver DP ground out makes a quick top of the 4th. Old traditional 6-4-3. And that's a quick close to that half. Miracles scored 1 in the bottom of 3. They're going to try to carve more off the deficit. Down by 10 in the bottom of 4. We're in the middle 4. Tell you what, we're going to do a little 4th inning stretch based on the shortened format of this game. A 7-inning game that has potential to be a run rule. Not there yet. Miracles got a shot. This one could pull up short. Let's do it now. Why not? Traditions abound. Ronan Hella start tonight for the Foxes on the Hill, and he works to the 4th inning. Good controlled pitch count. The heaviest mileage on Ronan last inning, but still in a good number for pitch count as he opens the 4th with 2 balls to the batter, David Ada. Louis De La Cueva on deck. Ada sees a strike hit the outer side of the zone. He'll roll this to 3rd. Picked up by Einen. High throw, leap, and a catch, and a tag thrown down by Oreskes, who had to come to the plate side of the bag at first. Couldn't tag it. Instead, he tags Ada. David Ada out on a 5-3 ground ball. Louis De La Cueva, one of the guys who makes being part of this Front Range League more enjoyable. Character in a good way. Sometimes you say character with tongue in cheek, just a good personality. So tonight, with my ongoing story of my interactions with Louis De La Cueva, who's batting right now, he showed up tonight with research, homework on Craig Biggio. If you've heard previous comments, swing and nothing there, 1-2 count. Louis De La Cueva, early on in the season, I think we were at Diamond Club, and I met Louis. We were talking a little bit. I've seen him in Fort Collins here, seen him around the circuit a little bit. And he was talking about some classic catchers that he admires. He swings, and that ball's down. Strike three, drop third. De La Cueva heads down, but Vandiver throws him out. Louis was telling me about a couple guys he likes. He mentioned Salvador Perez. He mentioned Yadier Molina, and then I threw out Craig Biggio from back in the day, and Louis was familiar, was aware, and then proceeded to tonight show up with research on the Hall of Famer Biggio, compared him to the stats of Buster Posey running barehand snag out in shallow center on a single shot that'll get down for a base hit for Jackson Schlepper, with two away and a runner aboard. So Louis compared, Craig Biggio spent 3 years at catcher for the Houston Astros at the beginning of his 20-year career, was an all-star in his third year, and then played second base, and then played center field, did Biggio, Hall of Famer now. And Louis had the stat comparisons on batting average and I think the slugging percentage, on base percentage, I think it was, errors, assists from behind the dish in his first 3 years compared to Posey. And Posey's numbers were better, but Louis then brings Posey into the conversation. So I tell Louis I saw Posey play in the College World Series in Omaha when he was at Florida State before his illustrious major league career. There's a nice block by Ryan Vandiver doing the dish work for the Foxes. Told Louis he gets some college credit for that. He went and did some stat diving and some research work, and then had it all charted out on his phone. He pulled it up. He had it all digital summarized and was walking me through it in our pregame conversation tonight. And Louis showing again the dedication to the game and the craft of catching. Swing and a miss for Brainerd. Nicholas batting number 8. He's got a single and the only run scored in the game for the Miracles. He's at the plate now with a 2-1 count. Here comes Ronan Hella's pitch. Trying to close the fourth inning. He gets an oops swing from Brainerd, who was fooled on that pitch. It's 2-2. Vandiver scuffles at the plate to keep that ball contained and hold the runner at first base. And a 3-2 count to Nicholas Brainerd. Here it comes from Hella. And Brainerd's going to shoot that to right field and keep the inning going. 2 aboard now, back-to-back singles from Schlepper and Brainerd. I was considering saying right before that pitch that Ronan Hella has not walked a batter in the game. He had a 3-2 count there. 4 strikeouts in the game for Ronan Hella, 1 in each inning as he purges that baseball from play, tosses it toward the first base dugout. Manager John Byington scoops it up, and that'll at least go into the bucket, man. You don't ever squander one of those seamed spheres. New ball for Hella. He fires. That goes to center to Nori Todd, who Works to the right field side a couple steps and gloves it from Mason Aaron's fly ball to center field, and that'll cap the fourth inning. Fly out to center, and we go to the fifth. So the Miracles will have to score at least one. That's if they don't give up anything here to the Foxes in their round of batting. Right now, a 10-run margin. It would end in 5 if the Miracles don't score in their frame. We'll see what they need, if it's just one or if the Foxes extend on this 11-1 score. Through 4, it's the top of the order for the Foxes, Gavina and Todd and Bertucci.
River Morgan presents famous baseball quotes.
Hey, Dad,
Now
League
ask
Baseball
your
is
mom
what
what
I
you
do
can
in
win
winter
when
there's no
because
baseball.
keeps the
I'll
parents
tell you what I
off
do.
the streets.
I stare out the
Yo,
window.
there's
and
no
wait for
crying
in baseball. Top of 5 for Cade Gavina. And Nick Marburger back on the mound for El Paso County Baseball Miracles. In Gearing, Nebraska, the Pioneers have gone to a 10-1 lead in the 8th of a 9-inning game, threatening to potentially run rule out 1 inning shy of a full load there. Diamond Club Collegians hung around for the first 5 or so. Good game going at 2-1. Luis Lepe, pitcher for the Collegians of Diamond Club, dueling for a half of that game, and then Western Nebraska Pioneers, potent offense that scored 24 runs here yesterday. Foxes scored 24 runs yesterday in Fort Collins. 2 prolific clubs on offense. Boulder 64 is right there in that same conversation with the offensive prowess. That's an impressive outing by Luis Lepe for Diamond Club, holding down a stout offensive team in the Pioneers. Got a 3-1 tally to Gavina, make it 3-2 now. That ball to short, diving try, won't yield an out, but a heck of an effort at short by Jansen Roberts, and Gavina is on for the 3rd time in this game, the leadoff spot tonight in Game 2 for Gavina. Singles plus a walk. He's aboard. Nori Todd bats now for the Foxes. Todd shoots that to right. First pitch swinging, and 1 station forward for Cade Gavina. First and second for the Foxes. Now Nick Bertucci has a home run in each game tonight. including a 3-run shot opening this game. Same two guys are on base now. Started off with singles, and Bertucci went hacking and destroyed a ball for a 3-run jack. And he does the same approach here with singles in front of him. Bertucci goes big hack, but chops that foul third base side. One pitch from Marburger to Bertucci, misses the zone. It's 2-1. Now Bertucci swings and chops that at the plate. Luis de la Cueva picks it up, makes the throw, and the runners move up. Bertucci out on a catcher pick up and toss. 2-3 in the book on that one for de la Cueva to David Ada. Fox is working on some insurance toward a 10-run outcome. One-0 count to Hank Smith. Swings and misses 1-1. Looked like that pitch had some bend on it. Marburger to Smith, fouls it off left side, out of play. Line side, bangs off his glove on a hot shot from Hank Smith. Smith ends up at second base. 2 runs come in, and the Foxes have that insurance now. Beyond just the 10-run margin, they're up 13-1 after. Yeah, they're going to talk about this. So there's a white line down the right side of your screen. You can see it just kind of extends out from the dugout area. You can see that white line that goes down toward the bullpen. There's just on the very edge of the right of your screen, there's a little green patch. That's part of the bullpen. There's a green behind, or green black wall behind the pen, and there's a little green grass patch you can see down there past the grandstands at the end of the dugout. See that white line there? It's chalked off. We're talking here, what's the ruling when one gets there, and they're going to leave everything as it is. So the runners score. Here's a liner to short, and Hank Smith will retreat quick enough to get back. Line shot from Elijah Einen. Well barreled, but right at the shortstop. Jansen Roberts, 2 out. Now with the 2 down, Miracles looking to finish it up. Oreskes hits a rope to right, and that's going to get into the corner. Mason Aaron on the chase, run coming home. Oreskes thinking about, now he's not really thinking about 3. He was thinking about pulling up at 2. Drew smokes a double to the right field corner and knocks in Hank Smith, and it's a 14-run output as it sits right now for the Foxes, who put up 17 in game 1. That was after trailing 4-0 and 5-4, the offense came to life, and where we are now is another 31 runs of damage in the doubleheader tonight combined for the Foxes. Up 14-1 right here. 1-0 count. Owen May. 2-0 count. Pitch bounces in. Louis De La Cueva contained that ball 2 bouncer from Marburger. Now gets a bender on the inside part of the zone. Nice pitch from Marburger. Cap off the Louis De La Cueva catcher story, his research project tonight. Class credit, college credit for Louis' great work, digging up stats on Biggio and Posey. Told De La Cueva 2-1, also in the zone 2-2, 2 outs. I saw Buster Posey play in Omaha in the College World Series when he was at Florida State and was an absolute dude, of course. And I believe that was his last year. I saw him in Game 1 against the Dodgers playoff series out on that pitch, full count. Buster Posey in San Francisco, Giants and Dodgers. That year when both teams had 107 or 108 wins and the Giants had just barely had the advantage for seeding. They hosted the Dodgers in Game 1. Posey hit one out, bounced it off of opposite field, bounced it off of the brick and into the McCovey Cove, which did not count as a splash hit because it bounced. And so I saw Posey bookended in the College World Series and a playoff series in his final year with the Giants. Ground ball is going to end the top of 5. Foxes go for 3 more on Owen May's ground out, and we'll see if the Miracles keep it alive. They got to get at least 4 runs. 3 won't do it. 10-run rule is the threat here in the 5th inning for the host Miracles. Miracles are at the top of their order with Hunter Morgan batting, Ben Clayton next, then Austin Reese. 1, 2, and 3 have the opportunity to try to dodge a second run rule of the night against the Foxes, and Morgan gets a good hack down the line. That's going to be fair into the corner in left field. Hunter Morgan glides into second base, leadoff stand-up double. And the continuation into inning 5 for Ronan Hella. I asked Ronan when the last time he threw was, and he said just at the back of his spring season at UCCS. So it hasn't been super long. He hadn't joined the Foxes until today, but collegiate seasons just came to a close a little over a month ago. So Ronan has had some break, hence the availability for a decent load tonight with the pitch count. Gives up a leadoff double in the top of the 5th in his start in Colorado Springs. For Ronan Hella, he's at 52 pitches working in the top of the 5th. That's pretty cool. Efficient. Updated tally. He's got a 1-1 count now with Ben Clayton. And it's 54 pitches, 37 strikes, so 17 balls, 37 strikes and 17 balls. Atta baby. 4 strikeouts, no walks. There's a strike and a 1-2. Hella has not hit a batter. He has not walked a batter. He struck out 4. 7 hits scattered now in 4+ innings on the bump. And 1 run that was earned. Hella gets a fire-through strike, and he'll set down Ben Clayton on the fastball. Little elevated, and Clayton hacked and couldn't get it. Austin Reese had the 4 for 4 game 1. He's 0 for 2 here with a ground out and a line out to right field. The line out was sharp. That was his last time at the plate, so indications are he might be figuring out a little something with the starter Ronan Hella, now seeing him for the 3rd time in this game. Runner takes off from second. That'll be flared into right. Oreskes makes the catch, and he'll double off the stealing runner, Hunter Morgan, and that's how this will end. Ball looked like it was going to pop into shallow right. Big guy, Drew Oreskes, listed at 6'3", and he made the reach. Oreskes snags the looper behind first and doubles off Morgan at second base. And that puts a conclusion to our doubleheader tonight in Colorado Springs with the Reese pop-out double play. Foxes get what they came for, taking 2 here from the Miracles after having to battle in game 1 deep into that before breaking away for a 10-run win. And they follow that with a controlled performance in the second matchup of the double dip. And took the early lead, never really looked back. 14-1, the final count in this game 2. I am actively, as I yap, throwing in the score, and we'll give you the standings update in the Front Range League with the Western Nebraska Pioneers firmly in command and closing out a win in Gearing there in the 8th inning, up 10-3 on the Diamond Club Collegiates, bottom of 8. Looks like, they could run rule in this inning. 2 outs, probably one more shot for the Collegians at bat. That's on the Front Range Baseball Network right now, also on a separate stream on this network channel. So that game, when it goes final, appears the Pioneers will move to 16-6 with 22 games in the books. That'll be the most of any team in the league. The Miracles have 21 games played, and Western Nebraska will have 22. The Foxes now with 19 games played. Their record at 16-3 and leading the Front Range League ahead of the Boulder 64s by a game and a half at 15-5. Boulder, while the Foxes are 16-3. Western Nebraska will move to 16-6 tonight. Pueblo Spradley Collegians take a loss tonight at Greeley, drop to 9-5. They're still solidly in the number 4 position in the standings, and those are the 4 who would make the postseason. Front Range League will take the top 4 teams to a semifinals and a final on August 2 and 3. Those are the top 4 in the standings now. Foxes trailed by the 64s by a game and a half, Pioneers by 2 games, and the Pueblo Spradley Collegians 4.5 games back of the top spot through action tonight. Western Nebraska actually will move back. They'll move back to 1.5 behind the Foxes. They'll be even as far as games back with the Boulder 64s tied in the second position behind the Foxes. Good race shaping up as we head toward the All-Star Spectacular in Gearing, Nebraska on July 7 and 8, and then down the backstretch, the final month of the season will feature the chase toward the postseason title opportunity. Final in Game 2, 14-1 in 5 innings. Foxes take 2 from the Miracles in Colorado Springs. All from Gearing, Nebraska. And I'll be in Boulder tomorrow night for Diamond Club and the 64s. Thanks for hopping along tonight. Thanks to the players for being here. We appreciate what they do and the work they put in to create this enjoyment and this opportunity in the Front Range League. Thanks to our coaching staffs, John Byington, Marcus Gilmore for the Miracles, Larry McCann and Jay O'Connor for the Foxes. Our 2-umpire crew, Steve and Steve. Steve Schlepper had the plate on Game 2. Bases, Steve Naftanol had the He had the bases. Steve Schlepper had the plate on Game 2. And that's all our thanks, along with all you on the Front Range Baseball Network. Talk to you tomorrow from Boulder. For now, so long from Colorado Springs.